This video is using prime factorization to find the least common multiple. Let's start by thinking about what a least common multiple is. If I have the number 8 and 12, and I'm trying to look for a multiple that both of these can become, I might start by writing out the multiples. Alright, well, 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times 12 is 24. 3 times 12 is 36, and so on. Let's look at 8. 1 times 8 is 8. Well, that's not in the 12 list. 2 times 8 is 16. Also not something 12 can become as a multiple. And 3 times 8 is 24. Notice that both of my numbers have the number 24. For 8, I have to multiply it by 3, and for 12, I would multiply it by 2, but they both give me a multiple of 24. The key is to remember the M, multiple. What is the smallest multiple that both of the numbers can become? You'll use a strategy called prime factorization, which you learned when finding the greatest common factor. So, for this first set of numbers, I have the number 20 and the number 36. I'm going to start by prime factorizing both of my numbers. Let's start with 20. 2 will go into it. I'm going to circle 2 because it's prime. 2 times 10 gives me 20. 10 is not prime, so I'm going to keep going. 2 goes into 10 5 times. Both of these are prime. So I'm going to write my prime factorization as 2 times 2 times 5, or I could also write it as 2 to the second times 5. Now let's factor out our second number, 36. 2 and 18. 2 and 9. 3 and 3. So now I've factored it out, and I get 2 times 2 times 3 times 3, or 2 to the second times 3 to the second. Now we're going to use the tables like we used for greatest common factor. I have the number 20 and the number 36. This is what I'm going to build my table for. The factors of 20 were 2 to the second. I'm going to skip a space for 3 and 5. For 36, they were 2 to the second and 3 to the second. This is where least common multiple and greatest common factor differ. I'm going to look for the largest factors in each of my columns. So in this column, my largest factor happens to be 2 to the second. In this column, my largest factor is 3 to the second. And in this column, it's 5. So basically, you're bringing down the largest number in each of your columns. Now, let's look at this. This is 4, 9, and 5. 4 times 9 is 36, times 5 gives me 180, which is the least common multiple for 20 and 36. Now, how do I test this? Let's bring up the calculator tool. Let's move it down so we can see it. We're going to take the number 180 and divide it by 20. And you can see here that I've written it goes into there 9 times. Alright, let's try the same thing for 36. 180 divided by 36 equals 5. So it goes in there a whole number, or 5 times. So this times 5 equals 180. So we know that 180 is a multiple for both 20 and 36. Let's do another example. 42 and 63. Let's start by factoring 42. Well, we get 2 and 21. 2 is prime, 21 is not. 3 and 7. So my factorization, prime factorization, is 2 times 3 times 7. Now let's do number 63. Right? Well, we know that 3 goes into 63 21 times. And then we have 3 and 7 again. So the prime factorization of this one is 3 times 7, or 3 to the second times 7. So let's make our table. 42, 63. We have 2 times 3 times 7. For 63, we have 3 to the second times 7. Alright, now I'm going to look in each row or column. I want to bring down my largest number, 2, 3 to the second, and 7. So this is 2 times 9 times 7. I'm going to start by multiplying these two, which gives me 63 times 2 gives me 126 equals my least common multiple. Again, I'm going to test my answer using my calculator. So let's clear it. We're going to take 126 divided by 42 equals 3. So we know that 42 times 3 equals 126. Now let's test for 63. 126 divided by 63 equals 2. So 2, 126. So that would be my least common multiple. Now sometimes you'll have three numbers. For instance, here I have 14, 21, and 35. So I'm going to start with my first number, 14, and I'm going to factor it out. 2 and 7. My second number is 21, which is 3 and 7. And my third number is 35, which is 5 and 7. Okay, so for this one I'm going to make my table. 14, 21, 35. I have 2. I'm going to leave space for 3 and 5. And I have a 7. 3, 7, and 5, and 7. So when I bring my numbers down, I need to bring down one of my 2's, a 3, a 5, and a 7. If I multiply all of this out, I get 210, which is my LCM. All right, let's test it. 210 divided by 35 equals, well, that's times 6. .210 divided by 21, this one should be easy, times 10. And 210 divided by 14 equals 15. So that I know that each of these goes evenly into 210, and I've tested that. Now let's apply another idea. Let's say I have variables. This is going to be the same as GCF. I have 24. 2 goes into that. 12 times. 2 goes into 12 6 times. 2 goes into 6 3 times. So here's my factorization, 2 to the third times 3. For 32, I have 2 and 16, 2 and 8, and then 2 and 4, and 2 and 2. So I have 2 to the 5th. Alright, notice I also have A here and A to the 4th here. So A to the 4th and A. So let's write it out. 24A and 32A to the 4th. Let's make our table. For here I have 2 to the 3rd, 3, and A. Here I have 2 to the 5th and A to the 4th. Notice I'm putting the same thing in each column. My largest one here is 2 to the 5th. Here it's 3, and here it's A to the 4th. Now if I multiply this out, 2 to the 5th is 32 times 3 is going to give me 96 times A to the 4th. This would be my least common multiple for these two. Let's look at the next one. Right, here we have more variables, more than one variable. We have m to the 2nd and n, m and m to the 3rd. For now I'm going to ignore the variables and I'm going to start by just factoring my numbers. This is 3 times 7, 84, 2 and 42, 2 and 21, 3 and 7. So this is 3 times 7 times m to the 2nd times n from here. This is 2 to the 2nd times 3 times 7, and then up here I have times m times n to the 3rd. So let's make our table. 21 m to the 2nd, n, and 84 m n to the 3rd. Okay, I know I have a 2, so I'm going to leave a space for that. I have a 3, a 7, an m to the 2nd, and an n. Here I have 2 to the 2nd, 3, 7, m, n to the 3rd. Let's bring down the biggest part of each of our columns. 2 to the 2nd times 3 times 7, m to the 2nd, n to the 3rd. So now I would multiply this out, and I would get, if I multiply these together, I would get 84 times m to the 2nd times n to the 3rd. So this would be my least common multiple for these two monomials. Now, apply what you've learned in the video to complete these 6 problems.